Come on now, let's be honest. Who among us doesn't absolutely love Tails? Sonic's two-tailed fox friend who follows him around on his adventures and can use his tails to fly like a helicopter. How could you not love him? Sega knew that the little fox had his admirers, so they did what any good corporation would do in the pursuit of wealth: give the character his own leading titles. Joining Dr. Robotnik and soon to be followed by Knuckles and Shadow, Tails leaves his mark on the Sonic franchise with not one, but two dedicated games made exclusively for the Sega Game Gear. Do they hold up? Let's take a gander. Tails SkyPatrol was released for the Sega Game Gear exclusively in Japan in April of 1995. The game is an on-rails adventure game where you take to the skies as Tails, who can throw his boomerang ring at enemies and obstacles, but can't touch the ground or the side of any structures. Tails is the only Sonic character to appear in the game, with the enemies and bosses being original creations by the development team. The game seems to be aimed at a younger audience than standard Sonic games, yet it's more difficult than most Sonic games. The game starts you off in a training zone where you can practice all the moves, but this is really just a short introduction stage and you will die your first few times playing it. After the training zone, stages become much longer and more challenging. There's been some speculation that this game may have started as a Mickey Mouse game. A poster on the Sonic Retro message board pointed out an early version of SkyPatrol where the Beringer boss looks like Disney's Pete. While the Mickey Mouse connection wasn't implied, Alice Kagamino, a developer who worked on the game, did confirm in a Twitter thread that the game wasn't originally a Sonic game. According to them, the game started life as a proposed launch title for an unannounced handheld console. The system would be similar to the Game Gear, so they developed for the Game Gear with the idea to port it to the new console when possible. The new console never happened, so the game was instead released for the Game Gear as Tails SkyPatrol. A new version of the game was produced for the Game Boy Color, without the Sonic license of course, now known as Boon Boon Kaboom. The game was finished, however, it would never be released publicly. Tails Adventure was released for the Sega Game Gear worldwide in September of 1995, with a US release following that November. Another departure from the Sonic formula, Tails Adventure is a side-scrolling adventure game with RPG elements. Tails can walk, jump, and fly, as well as use items such as bombs to attack enemies and break obstacles. There's conflicting versions of the game's story, with the Japanese version taking place before Sonic met Tails, and the English version happening after Sonic 3 and Knuckles. At the start of the game, Tails is just plain cold chillin' on the Cocoa Island when an invading army of Battle Cuckoos show up and set the island on fire. The Battle Cuckoos look like duck versions of Metal Sonic, and it's creepy and makes me feel uncomfortable. Like Tails SkyPatrol before it, Tails Adventure is a needlessly difficult game. I don't know if it's just a Game Gear problem or what, but for some reason all of these Game Gear games are incredibly difficult. Maybe I'm just a big baby and need to get good at video games, or maybe the small screen and limited capabilities made for more challenging games. Neither games really feel like they're building on the world of Sonic the Hedgehog in any meaningful way. One could easily remove Tails from both games and put another character in his place, and the games would still make sense. Regardless, these games are fun and are probably the best Sonic-related games for the Game Gear. As much as I love the titles that try to match what the Genesis games of the day were doing, I'm more fond of original ideas like these. While Sonic might not be able to star in a slower-paced adventure RPG, Tails easily could take the lead and help establish other gameplay styles within the Sonic franchise. Unfortunately, we haven't had a Tails-centric game since 1995, but I wouldn't be against the two-tailed fox getting his own game again.